Hi, my name is Christian Kolupski. I'm a Rochester artist. I'm a realist painter, and what that means is I paint reality as I see it, both the visual perception of reality as well as a little bit about the understructure. So, this is my teaching classroom, and if you notice there are casts here in the still life setups. Most of the casts are of actual molds of Greek statuary. For instance, these are the eye and mouth of Michelangelo's David, and all of the Greek and Roman statuary represented certain ideals of the human form, which I try to relate to my students, try to communicate to the students. The Greeks and the Romans had fabulous taste and saw the beauty of form, so that's what I as an art instructor try to communicate to my students. You'll notice also here the 3 dimensions of color, the double primary palette. Color is studied independent of form so that students have a mastery of the palette before they try to see color in the real world. So first we study color in the abstract, and then we relate that back to color from direct observation, both outside, plein air painting, as well as inside doing still life setups. Of course, where we start students is in black and white, just honing their drawing ability and giving them a head start into seeing shapes and calculating proportions with their eyes. So we start with black and white drawing. We slowly move on to monochrome painting, that's black and white painting, and then we add color in the abstract, and then we stitch them all together so that finally the student arrives at color painting from life. And here we are in my personal studio, which is separate from the teaching studio. Here's a few examples of portraits that are awaiting clients' pickup. You'll notice the portraits are painted in opaque paint, meaning there's no drawing and then subsequent transparent layers of paint. The paints are put on opaquely and they're put on tonally, meaning I paint value shapes and build them up one right on top of the other without preserving any kind of a drawing. So the drawing emerges from the paint. All of these were done from life. This one here took a little more time than these. These are 3 to 4 hour head studies. This is more like a 10-hour full portrait job. And then this one here is slowly being developed from photographs. This one is not finished yet. So here's a painting that's in progress that I'm actually working on today. And this, of course, is not painted from life. It's painted from these photographs. And just a slow process of creating the drawing out of the tones here and trying to see all these shapes as opaque zones of the same color. For example, right under here, I have to bring the value up of her lip. I have to trim back the side of the nose just a little tiny bit, and that's just done on the fly. A little bit different from the work that I'm doing for priority thinking, which is done entirely from pre-production sketches, basically. So that effectively trims the side of her nose, and then I have to bring in some slightly lighter tones up from below on the front of the lip to continue shrinking the mass of the nose, coming in, whittling in on the sides. Okay. So when I'm not painting portraits from life, I like to paint large-scale works. This here is a 4 by 7 foot primed panel that is going to be the large historical painting for priority thinking. This is birch, and the back of it is cradled poplar, constructed by a woodworker. Very stable surface that this painting will go on. And the design of the painting has been worked out literally over the last year by myself and Peter. And here is the sketch. As you can see, it's a takeoff on the School of Athens. This is a production sketch. It's still being adjusted, actually, because this section over here is going to be reworked. But it's a takeoff on Raphael's School of Athens. All of Raphael's figures have been removed and repopulated with various figures from history. If you look up here, here's a couple of different prints of Raphael's The School of Athens, and some of the intermediary sketches that were before I actually began working in paint. Where we stand right now with the composition, believe it or not, this little thumbnail sketch over here begins to redesign the figures which are over here on the left-hand side. And the way that the figures are here is going to be completely redesigned so that in the leaders' court, these background leaders are brought more into the foreground, and then the bottom of the scaffold, which represents the future, will be unfinished, and maybe we'll even put a worker in assembling the scaffold even while the workers are using the scaffold, to show the unresolved nature of the future, as well as to add sort of a tension and sort of a visual symbol of the unstable nature of that which is yet to come.